The single loudest demand from people who follow this subject is a technical one. Strip the winner's bike, scan it, do what motorsport does, where a championship car gets taken apart after the race and nobody thinks that is unreasonable. It is a fair demand. And the sport does have an answer to it, in the form of an actual machine that actually exists and has been in service since 2016. This video is about that machine, what it is, what it can see, what it cannot see, and the one documented occasion on which it was tested by outsiders and failed. Start with the object, because the reality is less impressive than most people imagine, and that turns out to be the point. The system is a tablet, not a purpose-built scientific instrument in a flight case. A tablet computer with a protective case, an adapter, and custom software. Reporting at the time identified the hardware as a consumer tablet of the ordinary kind. The software is where the actual work lives, and it was not written in-house. The governing body developed it in partnership with an outside firm of specialist developers and electrical engineers, a company based in Britain, whose main business had nothing to do with detecting motors in bicycles. That is not a criticism, and it is worth resisting the temptation to make it one. Buying in specialist engineering is entirely normal, and the physics involved is not unique to cycling, but it does mean the tool at the center of the sport's entire anti-fraud effort was adapted from outside the sport rather than purpose-built within it, by a partner with no prior history in this particular problem. Here is how it works. And it is worth getting right because it is described wrongly almost everywhere. The tablet generates a magnetic field around the bicycle. It then reads that field back and looks for interruptions in it. A motor, a magnet, or a solid mass such as a battery inside a frame tube disturbs the field in a way that empty carbon does not. The device is, in essence, a very sophisticated magnetometer. Two consequences follow from that, and they matter enormously. The first is good news for the sport. Because it is looking for the permanent magnets inside a motor rather than for heat, it does not care whether the motor has been used. A cold motor that has never been switched on disturbs a magnetic field exactly as much as a hot one. That is the single biggest advantage it has over thermal imaging, which can only see a device that is running or recently run. The second consequence is the limitation. This is not an X-ray. It produces no image. Nobody looks at a picture of the inside of the frame. The operator gets an indication that something is there, or no indication. It is far closer to a metal detector than to a camera, and the speed is the whole design philosophy. A complete bicycle, wheels, frame, group set, and components in under a minute. That number is why this method won. X-ray takes around 3 minutes per bike and needs a fenced-off area for radiation safety. At a grand tour, with 170-odd riders and multiple bikes each, 3 minutes per machine is not a testing program, it is a fantasy. Under 60 seconds, with a device somebody can carry to the start line, is a program you can actually run. And run it they have. At the 2016 Tour de Romandie, the governing body performed 507 checks on 347 bicycles, across every team in the race. Nothing was found. That same season saw hundreds of checks at individual events. Over 200 at the Tour of Flanders, over 200 at Paris-Roubaix, 164 at the Trofeo Alfredo Binda. By the 2021 Tour de France, the operation was routine. 720 tests over 15 stages, 606 of them pre-stage tablet scans and 114 post-stage X-ray checks, all negative. The bikes examined after a stage consistently included the stage winner's machine and the bicycle of the rider leading the race, with others chosen through intelligence and anti-doping selections. So the answer to the demand is that yes, the winner's bike does get scanned, and it has been getting scanned for a decade. It is also worth knowing that the tablet has not been the sport's only tool for some years now. The published equipment timeline runs magnetic tablets from 2016, a mobile X-ray cabinet added in 2018, and portable backscatter and transmission devices in 2021. The tablet remains the workhorse because of its speed, but the heavier equipment exists and travels to the larger races. That layering tells you something in itself. If one method were sufficient, there would be no reason to keep buying others. Which brings us to the uncomfortable part. In 2017, journalists working for Italian, French, and German media took the question out of the governing body's hands. They obtained a concealed propulsion system of a different type, an electromagnetic wheel, in which the working parts are in the rim and its surroundings rather than inside the frame. Then they took it to the Fraunhofer Institute for Non-Destructive Testing in Germany, a genuine research institution, and had it examined by its vice director. They ran the sport's own tablet method against it. The tablet did not detect it. The institute's finding was that no field was detected around the wheel fitted with the induction motor. An X-ray, run on the same object, showed it immediately. The same testing also produced false positives at several other points on a bicycle that did have a conventional hidden motor fitted. Both halves of that result are awkward, and for different reasons. A miss means a system can pass through the net. A false positive means the operator is being told there is something in a place where there is nothing, which over thousands of scans is the kind of noise that trains people to distrust their own equipment. The governing body's response, published in September of 2017, was firm, and it deserves to be heard in full rather than dismissed. It said the scanner had proved highly effective both in laboratory testing and in actual use. It pointed out that the people operating the device in that report had received no training in its use. It emphasized that the tablet is used for initial controls only, and that where any suspicion is indicated, bicycles are dismantled for physical inspection. And it cited independent laboratory testing in which the scanner detected a hidden motor in every single scan. Every one of those points is reasonable. An untrained operator with an unfamiliar device is not a fair test of a method. But notice what the rebuttal does not say. It does not claim the tablet detects an electromagnetic wheel. The governing body's own published description of what the system is for has always been carefully bounded. It detects propulsion and energy storage systems concealed in tubes and other bicycle components. That is a statement about frames. It was never a claim to detect everything, and reading it as one is a mistake people make in both directions, both those defending the sport and those attacking it. If you want the documented record on this subject rather than the rumor, subscribe to the Peloton Files. So here is the honest assessment of cycling's motor scanner. It is fast, portable, cheap enough to deploy at scale, and it works on a cold motor, which is a genuine achievement. It found the one hidden motor ever confirmed in the entire history of the sport, at Zolder, only weeks after it entered service. It is also narrow by design. It gives a yes or a no, rather than a picture. It is aimed at the inside of frame tubes, and on the one occasion an independent research institute pointed it at a system built somewhere other than the frame, it saw nothing at all. The demand to strip the winner's bike has already been met, roughly 1,000 times a season, and the answer keeps coming back negative. The harder question is not whether cycling is scanning. It is whether the thing it is scanning for is still the thing worth looking for.